Hello and a very warm welcome to the special build-up of the FIFA World Cup 2022. From 32, we are now down to the last 8. 8 of the best teams, all vying for that one title that will be decided on December 18th. The quarterfinals are all set to begin tomorrow, and the first of the quarterfinals features the jersey that I am wearing, the Seleção, Brazil versus Croatia. A golden generation in the Croatian team plus an all-round legendary team in the Brazilian side as well. We are also going to build up to one more major encounter. Orange versus La Albiceleste. It's the Netherlands versus Argentina. And in the build-up to this show, I am joined by a very, very special guest. She is the Blue Tigress. Indian footballer, sensational young Indian footballer, that's what I've been asked to tell. I am joined by Dalima Chibber. Thank you so much, Dalima, for joining us on this special coverage of the FIFA World Cup. So far, if you look at it, the action has been fantastic. I mean, not until the last days of the group stages did we know who our 8 quarterfinalists are going to be. But for the two teams that we are going to preview at the start, the first quarterfinal features 5-time world champions and the GOAT nation when it comes to football, Brazil, taking on a golden generation of Croatian footballers who tend to defy age. Croatia versus Brazil. If you have to even look at the basic history, Dalima, Brazil start as favourites. And how do you rate Brazil's progress in the 2022 FIFA World Cup? Has it been effortless, barring that loss to Cameroon? Do you think they are like a well-oiled machine at this point in time?
For me, I would say they're a well-integrated and very cohesive team because they have come out, I think over the years they were last champions in 2002.
Yes.
And since then, I think they've had a very rough run where they've had some really good victories, but they've also lost to teams against Germany with a score of 7-1, right?
Yeah.
So like they've had a very rough run, and I think like after that they've actually worked together, and like now this young team which also has immense experience in them, and starting from their first player to the last player on the roster, they have so much depth in the team, and I feel like that plays to their advantage. And like for them, they have been able to bring it together and to work together as a team. That has been very beneficial, because even if you look at their last game, round of 16, they put 4 against Korea in the first half, and all the 4 goals were from 4 different players.
Yes.
It's not one. So that shows us the potential of the players in order to put the ball at the back of the net. And like I feel like going up against a side like Croatia, it's going to be very important to be able to put the ball at the back of the net early in the game, so that you don't only have that winning advantage, but also you have that psychological advantage throughout the game.
Do you think this current Brazilian side, I mean, I'll focus on the strength. Do you think that their sole focus is not on Neymar? It's on other players like Richarlison. Richarlison, in fact, is in contender for the goal of the tournament for that acrobatic goal that he scored. Do you think that their lack of dependence, total dependence on Neymar, is their biggest strength for the Brazilian team?
Definitely. And I feel like I said before, having 4 different scorers in the round of 16 against a side like Korea says a lot. That that we don't really need to be focused on one player. And when that focus shifts, then the other team comes in doubt. That there is not only one player that we really need to cover, or there's only one, if we cover one player we can actually upset the team. No, because I feel like because Neymar was sitting out in 2 of the group stage games, and then even then Brazil had some really good performances. They performed really well. So I think again it shows the depth that is there in the team, and I for them to be able to combine well in the attacking third and have that kind of attacking mindset, it really plays well in that for them.
There is often a common complaint when we come to the CONMEBOL nations that their attack is simply sublime. Argentina is a case in point, Brazil is a case in point. But somewhere down the line, their defense tends to be a bit shaky. I mean, I will really choke and shudder myself when I say that scoreline of 1-7. I hope to get it edited out because I don't want to remember that horrendous night that was there, because that was the lowest point any Brazilian fan could experience. I mean, for us growing up, seeing only great things about Brazil, that was the lowest point. Which is why this question about the weakness and the threat. Do you think in this last 20 years, Brazil's lack of a solid defense has been their ultimate undoing, or do you see some other threat?
I think I wouldn't really say it has been just their defense, because in their defense they have always had great names as well, right? They have had Thiago Silva, they've had Marcelo, they've had Dani Alves, and I'm talking across years, right? They've had really big names who've played for really big teams. They won like so many championships. I wouldn't really say that it has been entirely their defense, but I think it's how you tend to prepare, because on a given day any game can go sideways and every team has their certain advantages and disadvantages. And to say specifically, I think like you rightly said, that they're very attacking minded, right? They want to go forward, they want to drive the ball forward, because these teams are very technical instead of being tactical. Because on the other hand, we see teams from Europe which like to play tiki-taka form of football, but Brazil and Argentina are more like they want to show skill, they want to be able to dribble into the 18-yard box. But I think in that, when you're like too much focused on doing that, your transition period from attack to defense is what can cost you at times, because if the other teams can catch you in a counter attack, that is when you're at a problem. And I think that is where it started, going back to that 7-1 loss. When that happened, they conceded, there were like 2 or 3 goals that happened within a few minutes.
I mean, if I can recollect, 4 goals in 5 minutes. 2 from Cruz, 1 from Khedira, and I think that was 3 goals in 2 minutes. Somewhere on those.
So I think and that happening at a world stage, in a knockout round, it doesn't sit well. And I feel like that is where, mentally as well, you start to lose the morale. And I think it is like a combination of like a lot of other different things as well that plays a part. But if I have to talk, like Brazil has always had big names when it comes to football, but yes, like on a given day, I feel like every team can have their disadvantages, and if you can understand that 15 minutes into the game, and if coach can catch on to that and work tactically with the team that ways, it can it can either play it to your advantage or your disadvantage.
While Brazil is full of flair and absolute marvel, there is one team who likes to play rather dull football, hang back, wait for the mistake to happen, and then take it deep. And I'm talking about Croatia. What was the brilliance in that Croatia side of 2018? They could take it deep, and that tactic really worked for them. Penalty shootouts. If you are in penalty shootouts, you would give Croatia the edge. But do you think with this generation, with the same core that is there, with the likes of Ivan Perisic, Luka Modric, you also have Kovacic and also Rakitic in that team. Do you think taking the game deep against Brazil, will it benefit Croatia?
I think from my perspective, what is going to benefit Croatia is staying as an organized unit, because they know Brazil has got the pace, and that is not one of the strengths of the Croatian team in this World Cup. They were a fast-paced team in 2018. They were not scared to take the risks, and that got them to the finals. But I think going into the game, they know that they will be facing the likes of Richarlison, Neymar, Vinicius Jr., who are all who love dribbling the ball, who love making those runs, who love taking risks. And I feel like Croatia as a team, not having that kind of pace, not having that kind of strength, are not going to be willing to risk it all that ways. And for them, I think it's going to be very important to stay as an organized unit and be able to pick those moments where they can actually counterattack, move out from their zone, and be able to utilize those opportunities. Because I feel like going into the game, Croatia might just get very few opportunities and shots on attack, but if they're able to capitalize on them, I think they could take the advantage to their side.
Yep, so dark defense and plus flair. That is going to be Brazil versus Croatia. The first quarterfinal, we will be there for all the analysis and the review. Dalima will be with us for most of the games. That's there. You can see her on Sports Today and in the India Today show. She'll also be there on Sports Tak. So do subscribe to Sports Today for all the latest news and analysis. We will be back for more such updates. Press the like, comment and share button. Show some love on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram also, folks. Thank you. Bye-bye.